Welcome to BFSI classes, Domain Business Correspondent, Chapter Interest on Loans and Deposits. In this chapter, we are going to mention how the interest is charged and calculated in the banks. Interest is the cost of using somebody else's money. Interest is the price that someone pays for the temporary use of others' funds. Its value is calculated as a percentage of some amount. Banks charge interest on loans and also pay interest on some types of deposits. In this session, you will learn how and why the banks charge interest. Why do banks charge interest? Without interest, lenders would not be willing to lend and depositors would not be less willing to save. To repay a loan, a debtor has to pay interest as well as the principal, the amount originally borrowed. Similarly, a bank pays interest at agreed rate to the deposits accepted by it to encourage people to leave their money at the bank. The difference between the lending rate and the deposit rate is called the net interest margin. Net interest margin is the profit of the bank, and as the net interest margin increases, the profit of the bank increases, and if the net interest margin decreases, the vice versa happens. Now, let us look into the various types of interest calculations. There are different types of interest calculations. First one, simple interest. Simple interest is a fixed percentage of the amount borrowed for a period. The interest is calculated on a principal sum, not on earned interest. Simple interest is called simple because it ignores the effects of compounding. The interest charge is always based on the original principal, so interest on interest is not included. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the interest rate by the principal divided by the number of periods. So simple interest is equal to P into N into R divided by 100, where P is the loan amount and R is the interest rate and N is the duration of the loan using number of periods. Now let us take an example of a simple interest. Rahul has deposited Rs 10,000 for 2 years and the rate of simple interest is 10% per annum. After 2 years, the interest he will get is, that is PNR by 100. Here P is equal to 10,000, N is equal to 2 years, R is equal to 10%. So the simple interest is equal to 10,000 into 10 into 2 divided by 100, that is 2,000. That means for 2 years, if he invested 10,000 in the bank, he will get 2,000 rupees additionally after 2 years. That means he will get 12,000 is the total amount after 2 years. Now the second one is compound interest. Compound interest is the interest which is calculated not only on the initial period but also on the added interest of the previous periods. So the interest gets compounded along with the principal and it can be thought of as interest on interest and will make a deposit or loan grow at a faster rate than simple interest. The rate at which compound interest builds up depends on frequency of compounding. Let us take the same example for the calculation of compound interest. Rahul has deposited the same amount, Rs 10,000, in a fixed deposit account for 2 years where the bank will pay compound interest on 10% per annum. After the first year, the interest he will get is Rs 10,000 into 10 into 1 divided by 100, that is 1000. Now his principal amount becomes Rs 10,000 plus 1000, that is 11,000 after second year. The interest he will get is interest is equal to 11,000 into 10 into 2 divided by 100, that means 1,100. So total interest he get is 1000 plus 1,100 is equal to 2,100. This is compound interest. Next one, Fixed and floating interest rates. In fixed rate, the rate of interest once fixed will not change during the entire period. In floating rate, the rate of interest changes depending upon the market condition. Now let us look into the various differences between fixed interest rate and floating interest rate. In a fixed interest rate, the interest rate once set cannot be changed, while in the case of floating rate, interest may vary time to time. Fixed interest rates are suitable for short-term borrowers and depositors, while the floating rates are suitable for long-term depositors and borrowers. Fixed rates are suitable for those with no hope of income rise, while those who think their income will rise can select the floating rate. In selecting fixed rates, there are no risks involved, but floating rates are subject to risk and it is suitable for risk takers. Front-ended rate. In this case, the interest rate is calculated in the beginning and the customer gets net amount. That means, for example, Jaya takes a loan of rupees 1,000 at 10% interest. The bank disburses only rupees 900 since they take out the 10% in the beginning. Flat rate. In this case, the bank will calculate interest on the original amount lent and deposited. The interest will not be calculated on the reducing amount even though the debtor repays in installments. Usually, the EMIs are calculated as though the principal is also being paid back. So that's for this session. We will meet in the another session. Goodbye.